I want you to think about the person you trusted most in this entire world. Not a husband, not a friend, not a colleague, your own blood, your brother, the boy you grew up with, the one who knew every secret, the one who sat beside you at your father's funeral and held your hand while you both cried. Now imagine that same brother going home from that funeral and spending the next 3 months quietly stealing everything your father built, everything your father left for you, the business, the accounts, the property, the future, all of it, while you were still grieving. My name is Ashley, and my brother Ryan did not just betray me, he erased me, until the day I erased him back. My father, Daniel Carter, spent 32 years building Carter Home Solutions, a home renovation and contracting company that started as one man with a toolbox and a used van and grew into a regional operation with 47 employees and an annual revenue of $3.8 million. My father was not a complicated man. He believed in hard work. He believed in honesty. He believed in family above everything. He brought Ryan and me into the business as teenagers, summer jobs first, then real responsibilities. As we got older, by the time I was 25, I was running the client acquisition and project management side of the business completely. By the time Ryan was 27, he was handling operations and supplier relationships. We were a team. Dad always said that. You two are my greatest achievement, he would say, not the company. You two. His will reflected that. 50% of Carter Home Solutions to Ryan, 50% to me, equal partners, the way he always intended. What Ryan had not told anyone, not me, not my father, not the family attorney, was that he had spent the last year of my father's life preparing to take everything. My father died of a heart attack on a Wednesday morning in November. He was 61 years old. I was 28. Ryan was 30. The weeks after his death were the darkest of my life. Ryan seemed devastated. He cried at the funeral. He held my hand. He said all the right things. I leaned on him completely. He was my brother. He was all I had left. The will was read 3 weeks after the funeral, 50-50, exactly as Dad intended. I felt some comfort in that, in knowing we would carry this forward together the way Dad always wanted. I told Ryan that at the attorney's office. He nodded and said, that is what Dad wanted. And then he went to work, not on the business, on me. It started with small things. Ryan began scheduling management meetings without telling me, making supplier decisions without consulting me, signing off on contracts that required both our signatures, somehow with only his. When I raised it, he said I was being paranoid, that he was just keeping things moving during a difficult time, that Dad would have wanted someone to keep the wheels turning. I backed off. I was grieving. I thought he was right. I thought I was being unfair. Then one Monday morning, I arrived at the office to find my keycard did not work. I stood at the front door of the company my father built, and my keycard did not work. I called Ryan. He answered on the 3rd ring. Ryan, my keycard is not working. A pause. Ashley, he said, I have been meaning to call you. I have been doing a lot of thinking, and I have spoken to an attorney about the structure of the business. I want to buy out your share. I think it makes more sense for one person to be running this, and I am the one who has been here. I stood at that door in the November cold and felt something I had never felt before. Not grief, not sadness, pure cold fury. You changed my keycard, I said. I am trying to protect the business. You changed my keycard, Ryan, to my father's company while I was still wearing black. He said nothing. I will be speaking to my own attorney, I said, today. And I hung up. My attorney was a woman named Christine Walsh. I sat in her office that same afternoon and told her everything. Christine listened carefully. Then she started asking questions. Had I signed anything since my father's death? I thought carefully. Ryan had given me several documents in the weeks after the funeral. Paperwork he said was routine. Estate administration, business continuity forms. I had signed them while I was grieving, while I trusted him completely, without reading them carefully. Christine's expression became very serious. Ashley, she said, I need to see every document you signed in the past 3 months. I brought them all the following morning. Christine called me that afternoon. Her voice was carefully controlled, the way lawyer voices get. when they are delivering very bad news very professionally. What Ryan had given me to sign, buried in routine-looking paperwork, was a management transfer agreement, signed by me, in my grief, without understanding what I was signing. It gave Ryan operational control of Carter Home Solutions for a period of 5 years, with an option to purchase my share at a fixed price, a price set 18 months ago, before $3.8 million in annual revenue. Before the company's recent growth, the price Ryan had locked in was less than half of what my share was currently worth. I sat in my car outside Christine's office for a long time. Then I called my father's name, just quietly, to myself, and I told him I was going to fix this. Christine was extraordinary. The first thing she identified was that the management transfer agreement had a significant legal vulnerability. It had been presented to me within weeks of my father's death, without independent legal counsel being recommended or provided. Under the law, this created a potential undue influence claim. A person in acute grief signing complex legal documents without their own attorney present, without being advised to seek counsel, is not considered to have given full informed consent. Ryan had known this. He had moved fast deliberately, but he had not moved quite fast enough. Christine also discovered that 3 of the supplier contracts Ryan had signed in the months after my father's death carried both our names, but only his signature. Forgery, the same thing that had destroyed George in our second story. The same calculated move from someone who thought they were smarter than the law. They never are. Christine filed an emergency injunction to freeze all business operations and accounts pending investigation. Ryan's access to the company funds was suspended within 72 hours. And then Christine did something I had not expected. She contacted the 47 employees of Carter Home Solutions, every single one of them, and every single one of them, people who had worked for my father for years, decades in some cases, said the same thing. They had noticed what Ryan was doing, and every one of them was willing to say so. Christine arranged a formal mediation meeting. 4 weeks after I walked away from that Keycard, Ryan arrived with his attorney. He looked confident, a little smug actually. That confidence lasted approximately 6 minutes. Christine laid out everything: the undue influence claim on the transfer agreement, the forged signatures on supplier contracts, the employee statements, the financial records showing Ryan had been drawing significantly above his authorized salary from company accounts for 3 months. Ryan's attorney asked for a recess after the supplier contract evidence. They came back 20 minutes later, and Ryan looked like a different person. His attorney spoke for him. They were prepared to negotiate. There is nothing to negotiate, Christine said pleasantly. The transfer agreement is void due to undue influence. The forged contracts constitute fraud. The unauthorized salary withdrawals constitute theft from a jointly owned business. My client is not here to negotiate. My client is here to inform you that she will be resuming her rightful 50% ownership of Carter Home Solutions, effective immediately, and to give you the opportunity to make this process as simple as possible. Ryan looked at me across the table for the first time. Really looked at me. I looked back. I thought about my father's funeral. Ryan holding my hand, saying all the right things, while he was already planning this. Dad would be devastated, I said quietly. That was the only thing I said in that entire meeting. Ryan looked away. The legal process took 4 months. The transfer agreement was voided by the court on undue influence grounds. Ryan repaid the unauthorized salary withdrawals in full as part of the settlement. The forged supplier contracts were reported to the relevant authorities. Ryan received a formal caution and a civil penalty. My 50% ownership of Carter Home Solutions was formally and legally restored. But here is the twist I had not anticipated. When it was all over, and the dust had settled, and I was sitting in Christine's office, reviewing the final settlement documents, Christine said, "Ashley, what do you want to do about Ryan's 50%? I thought about it for a long time. Ryan's share was still legally his. I could have forced a buyout. I had grounds. I had leverage. I could have taken the whole company. Instead, I called Ryan. He answered after 5 rings. I am not buying you out, I said. I am not forcing you out. Dad left this company to both of us, and I am going to honor that, even if you did not. But you will never have operational control again. You will never sign anything alone again. Every single decision goes through both of us, or it does not happen. Those are my terms. Take them or sell me your share at fair current market value. You have 1 week. Ryan took the terms. Carter Home Solutions celebrated its 35th anniversary last month. We have 61 employees now, annual revenue of 5.2 million. Ryan and I work in the same building. We do not have lunch together. We do not socialize, but we are professional. We are functional, and the company our father built is thriving. I think Dad would consider that a reasonable outcome. I think about him every day. I think about the way he used to say, "You two are my greatest achievement." I hope wherever he is, he understands that I tried to honor what he meant, even when Ryan did not. I kept the company. I kept the team. I kept the 47 people, 61 now, who depended on Carter Home Solutions for their livelihoods. I did not burn it down, even when I had every right to. That is what Dad would have wanted, and that, more than the legal victory, more than the restored ownership, more than anything else, is what I am most proud of. If someone in your family has taken something from you, document everything. Get legal advice immediately, and do not sign anything while you are grieving without your own attorney present. Grief makes us vulnerable, and some people know that and use it deliberately. Protect yourself, even from the people you should never have to protect yourself from. Thank you for being here with Drama Hub Stories. Subscribe for a new powerful story every single day, and tell me in the comments, do you think Ashley was right to keep Ryan in the company, or would you have taken everything? Comment below. I read every single one. See you in the next story.